Hey, what's up? It's Bond. Let's talk about Mass Effect. And I want to jump right into it. And we're going to talk about when we may get more information about the game. It's been a minute. We basically haven't gotten anything official since N7 Day last year, beyond some rumors and speculation and things like that. So, first, let's talk about what the current situation is, and then we'll talk about what may be coming up. So there haven't been any blogs directly from BioWare since February of 2023. That's earlier this year, and that was a fairly big deep dive into some of the gameplay mechanics and RPG mechanics of Dreadwolf. That's significant because they did have a cadence for a while of some kind of update for about every 2 or 3 months. And that was mostly populated by blogs, but that also included like N7 Day, Dragon Age Day, and things like that. So the fact that we haven't gotten anything in now about 4 months is kind of off, but it's not that surprising, and I'll talk about why shortly. The other thing is there was no EA Play, and the summer for like an E3. It's typically an E3 thing. E3 obviously got canceled, and BioWare didn't appear on the Summer Games Fest or the PlayStation show or the Xbox show. And so without having EA Play and E3, and without being in one of those events, we all, I think, had a little hope that maybe we would see even the smallest tease or something during Summer Game Fest or even Xbox, but that didn't happen. And so, I saw people posting I think the BioWare Problems Twitter account kept posting like, I'm going to act like I don't care about any Mass Effect or Dragon Age news, so it'll show up in these shows, and then it didn't. So the other thing is there's not really been much social media interaction from Mike Gamble, who's the project lead on the game, as well as any other official BioWare accounts, other than kind of their normal like screenshots and character things. And even like other developers haven't said anything. Mike Gamble is a little active on Twitter. I know recently another YouTuber, Kala, posted like, hey, we just want, when are we going to get more info? And Mike Gamble, I think, liked that tweet, but didn't actually respond in any way. And then here's the thing, I think it's probably going to explain most of it, is that there was recent news a couple months ago that Dreadwolf's release was potentially going to be at the end of 2023. But then a big EA investor thing came out, and it showed that there wasn't really any plans at all for Dreadwolf to come out in this fiscal year, which goes to March of 2024. Then there were reports from people like Jeff Grubb that at one point the Dreadwolf release was hoped to be for the end of 2023 and is now targeting probably the middle of 2024. We also found out that Mark Dara, who had previously retired from BioWare, had returned on a consultant basis to help them wrap up that game and get it out. And then we also saw reports that there's people from the Mass Effect team working on Dreadwolf to help them get that thing out. That's a significant detail there at the end, because if Mass Effect is only in a pre-production stage, they probably only have maybe 30, 40, 50 people on that team in the first place. So if even 10 or 20 of them go to the Dreadwolf team to help them finish the game, that's a pretty big hit on whatever the Mass Effect team was currently doing, which I assume was pre-development stuff, doing concept stuff, doing vertical slices of gameplay, things like that. So I also think that goes back to the blog thing. I suspect that when things were humming and things were going well, like last fall when they announced that Dreadwolf had hit the alpha stage, that was a blog where they were kind of updating us, giving us stuff to think about and know. I suspect that with Mark Dara coming back, the release date getting pushed back, the Mass Effect team helping, things are maybe just, a little rough with that game right now as they wrap it up, and they don't want to do blogs because they don't want to say things. It's one of those things that says, it's the whole idea of if you can't say good stuff, just shut up. And I think more game devs could learn from that. Now, as for the things that could come in the future, we have N7 Day this year, November 7th of 2023 is pretty much a lock that we'll get more Mass Effect 4 or Next or 5 or whatever you want to call it info. And it could be fairly significant. And the last, in 2020, we had the teaser trailer come at the Summer Game Fest and the announcement of the Legendary Edition. In 2021, We had the blog and the poster that, you know, was at least good to speculate on. In 2022, we had a huge blog, and we had the little video and a ton of concept art that, you know, if you follow my channel, I've gotten plenty of time out of and speculation out of. And we very well could get some significant updates during this, even if they are still in pre-production, as they, you know, wrap things up and start to figure out where they're going to go as they make the scaffolding for this game, while they wait for the main development team to come back over from Dreadwolf. We could get some big announcements. And I know people have said, like, well, if Dreadwolf isn't out before N7 Day, they may not say much because they don't want to take the attention away. Well, here's the thing. If Dreadwolf really isn't expected till next summer, then they could give us a ton of info in November, because that's not really going to take away from any marketing push or anything for Dreadwolf. If Dreadwolf comes out, say, next May, they won't really start marketing that until probably March or April. And that means that, if anything, to try to save some face and get BioWare fans excited again, we may see a big info dump about what's going on with the Mass Effect game that's being developed. So in 7 days, the surefire time for some new info, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's significant info. If maybe they'll give us a trailer, maybe they'll give us a subtitle. I don't think the game's going to be called Mass Effect 4, but I do believe it's going to be a subtitle. Maybe we get that. Maybe they tease us with the name of the game, which will surely be speculated on heavily. Another time that they could give us some info would be some kind of blog. And I suspect that will happen before N7 Day. I think we'll get a blog of some capacity for BioWare to address the things about Mark Dara coming back, about the Mass Effect team helping out, potential release dates getting talked about by insiders. I could see them come out and just speak frankly about where the game's at, about all those things, and to kind of set some at least vague expectations for what's going on with Dreadwolf. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get a blurb about Mass Effect in there as well. We could get some kind of surprise update via the official socials, or even Mike Gamble themselves. Mike, last year in the between times when they weren't doing blogs or N7 Day, was normally at least like kind of teasing on people and stuff like that. As far as I can tell, he's been almost social media quiet. Now, maybe he's having issues. Maybe he doesn't want to really be a part of Twitter these days, which I can hardly blame people at this point. Or maybe there's other stuff going on. Maybe they just have their nose to the grindstone and they're just working on Mass Effect and they don't have anything to say yet. All those things are possible. And the last possibility is, unfortunately, becomes more and more likely as more things get developed and as more things happen. There could be a leak of some type, or someone could blow the lid off on a bunch of details, good or bad, about what's going on with development. We do get these little updates from people like Jeff Grubb. He's the one who I feel like seems to be the most connected with some EA contacts, and especially BioWare. So we could get some hints and winks and nods about things that are going on. There was even a Redditor who recently claimed to be someone inside of BioWare who tried to reassure people on some things about what's going on, but they've gone dead silent. I even tried to reach out to them, never heard back from them. Maybe they were real, maybe they were fake. I'm gonna lean towards the latter. So that's kind of where we're at. There's no hiring listings. It seems like they aren't actively in the middle of that. Obviously, we know that they are BioWare is giving up the Star Wars MMO, and they're kind of finding new places for those people to work who are going to be left behind from that. And supposedly it's to focus on Dragon Age and Mass Effect. So we'll see the results of that. I'm really curious to see what happens and when it happens, how soon we'll find out anything about the games. And that's kind of what I have for this one. So let me know when you think we may get more Mass Effect info, what you think about my guesses, and kind of what I've said about where I think we're at currently. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. If you liked it specifically, please hit the like button so more people see it. You can catch me all over the internet as Bond Diesel, including right here on YouTube, as well as Twitter and over on Twitch, where I do stream a few times a week. And last, I do have a weekly gaming podcast called The Echo Cast. It's on all podcast platforms and right here on this YouTube channel. So please check that out. That's all I have for this one. So until next time.